So let's continue with this idea of rotations, but we're going to try out some of these problems. Let's make the rotation. So here's my first thing. It says rotate triangle ABC 90 degrees clockwise. So if I'm thinking in quadrants here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, I am going to be going from quadrant 2 over to quadrant 1. It's quarter turn going backwards. Well, not backwards, I guess. Clockwise. Backwards and forwards is kind of weird with rotations. So 90 degrees. Here's the general idea. So here's B, which is at -1 and 2. And I'm going to take that and make it perpendicular and rotate over to here, to this point. And what is that point? Well, that's 2, 1. So there's my new B point. Let's do the other. That'll work. So here's A, which is at -3 and +4. But that's going to turn into, we're going to swap those. So now we're going to go to 4 and 3 right there. And just to make sure, let's look at these kind of connections. And that does look kind of like a 90-degree turn. So we're going to rotate this one as well. There we go. I'm going to show you guys a way you can do this with a different app. It's kind of cool way that you can check it. So let's finish this next one, and then we'll at least get those 3 points. The app, very awesome app. This is at -5 and +3 right there. And so that's going to turn into 3, 5. So we go to 3 and then up to 5. And there's the third point. Now if I want to connect these, let's use a straight line. That'll work. So here I go, straight line from each one to the next. There's my new triangle. Now just to be accurate, this was ABC. Well, the A is over here. Whoops, let's change that back to freehand. So this is my D, because it was ABC turning into DEF. That means B turns into an E, and C turns into an F. That would be the accurate version there. All right, let's pause this. I'm going to open an app up. It's called Geogebra. You're going to love it. Geogebra. And we're going to do some plotting and rotating as well. So let's see what happens with that. So we opened up this app. It's called Geogebra. Geogebra, like algebra, but not algebra. It's geometry algebra. It's all math. It's all the same thing. So we're going to take those same 3 points that we had in the other one, and we're going to transform them using this software here. So let's take these 3 points, these A, B, C triangles. So we got 1 point at, let's see, A is at -3, +4. So in my app here, I'll just type in an ordered pair, and it'll be like -3, 4, and it knows exactly what I want. And it also is going to label them in alphabetical order. So I'm going to start with A, then I'll go to B, then to D, or A, then B, then C. Let's see, what was B? B was right here. That's at -1, 2. So if I go into GeoGebra, and I'll put another piece in here, -1, 2. There we go. So we got those 2 points. And we're going to make a shape with this, by the way. And then for part C, let's see, what was C at? Well, that's at -5, 3, which we just saw. Now, if I just put in -5, 3, it doesn't know what that is. Invalid input. I need those parentheses around the outsides. There we go. Now we got 3 pieces. Let's say I wanted to rotate something. Well, here's an option. You click this little button. It says rotate object around point by an angle. Well, we can do that. And the point that we want to rotate around is the center of the graph. So I'm going to put a point right here, right at the center at 0, 0. Now if I couldn't click on that, I could have just typed in 0, 0. That would have worked just fine. So I'm going to do this button again. It was rotate object around point by an angle. So I'm going to rotate B around D, and how much? We're going to do a quarter turn, which would be 90 degrees, and I'm going to make sure that goes clockwise because that's the way that we're going. So that's that point. Let's do A. So I'm going to do A around D, 90 degrees but clockwise. So it remembers the last thing you had. And then C around D, 90 degrees clockwise. And look at that. Now I have the same triangle. Kind of interesting there. We have these two triangles, and that kind of looks like what we came up with in our drawing. So perfect. We got the right answer. So it's kind of easy to check yourself here as long as you know that you're rotating around the point 0, 0. You can plot the points that you had. We can even look closer at points on the grid if we're not sure. Like we can see the grid. So I could turn the grid on by turning this button on. So there we go. Let's go back to the next one and see what we can do from that. Okay, it says rotate triangle ABC 90 degrees counterclockwise. Ooh, counterclockwise. The opposite way. Let's see what that would do. Well, first, we know that we have these 3 points, and we got quadrants 1, 2, 3, and 4. Counterclockwise means I'm going to go from quadrant 2 over to quadrant 3. We're just going to go one quadrant because it's 90 degrees. Okay, so B here is at -1, 2. Now I'm going to switch those numbers. So that's going to become a 2 and a 1. But let's think about the negative value or the positive value. If we're down in this quadrant, they're actually both negative. So I'm going to go to -2, -1 right there. That's my new point for B. It rotates to this one. Next, let's do A. A was at -3, 4. So -3, 4, how's that going to switch? Well, those just kind of switch places. That's 4 and 3. But because we're in that third quadrant, they are both negative. Okay, so we're going to have -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and -3 right there. So that's my new A. And then C right here is at -5, 3. So that's going to become 3 and 5, but again, both negative. So it'll be at -3, -5. So did I just mess one of these up? I did. Kind of crazy. This dot shouldn't be there. So I got to redraw that. Let's see. We had B was at here. A is going to be at -4, -3. There. Is that right? No, that doesn't seem right. So B is at -1, 2. So that's going to be -2, -1. That's right. This is at -3 and +4. So that's going to become -4, -3. I guess so. And then, oh yeah, this is right. -5, 3. So that's going to become 3, -5. There we go. So now let's do a line between these 3 points. Just like that. And we got it. So it does look like a quarter turn rotate. Now to kind of put these numbers back in here, the first point was at -2, -1. The second point, and that's our G, you could say, because this is, well, no, that's not G. That's our H. Because B is going to H. A is going to G, so A is right here. That's our G, and there's our I. G was at -4, -3. And I was at -3, -5. Excellent. So I'm going to call it pretty much there. Let's preview the next couple of questions just to make sure we're doing okay with those. But that's mostly what we're going for with that one. All right, so this next one, here we go. Rotate the triangle 180 degrees. That's a piece of cake. That's actually super easy. Let's go ahead and do that because here, I have the same points. We're starting with the same original part. So we got negative, what do we got? -1, -2, or -1, +2 for B. For A, that's at -3, +4. And for C, that's at -5, +3. So all we got to do is switch the signs. So JKL, we just switch the signs. So that becomes 3, -4. And -1, 2 becomes 1, -2. And L goes to 5, -3. 180-degree turn is awesome. Your positives turn to negative and your negatives turn to positive. That's it. So 3, -4, 3, -4 would be right there. That's our J. 1, -2 would be here. And 5, -3 would be there. We'll change to our line. Put these three things together, and there we go, the 180-degree turn. So if we were going to kind of trace this, let's show you what's happening. So we're going from B through there and then there. So we got kind of that rotation. Then A, that's a long one. It's going wee all the way around 180 degrees, making a rainbow. And then C is wee all the way around, making 180 degrees. So we're rotating 180 degrees to get there. Excellent. And then this question here, 270, that's really 180 plus 90. So if I'm going 270 degrees counterclockwise, think about this for a second. I'm starting up here in this corner. And if I go 270 degrees clockwise, that's 180 plus 90. That's the same as if I went 90 degrees clockwise. So we're just going to go 90 degrees clockwise, which we already did in the very first one. If you guys remember, it was here. And then A would be, let's see, that's at -3, 4. So it's going to be 4, 3, 4, 3 right there. And then C was here. We've already done this one. It's just kind of a copy of that first one that you did. So that's kind of interesting. 270 degrees counterclockwise is the same as 90 degrees clockwise. Because watch this, we'll kind of trace it a little bit better. So it'd be like B going from here to here to here to there. So it's kind of like you're doing 3/4 turns. That's what 270 degrees is. And A would be doing the same thing. So I'd be going from -3, 4 down to -4, -3, down to 3, -4, back up to this one. So it's like I'm going, whoa, all the way around. 3/4 turns. So we got 1/4, 3/4, 2/4, 3/4. Excellent. And then C does the same thing as well. It goes all the way around. Or you could just go the opposite direction, a 1/4 turn. All right, I'm going to call the video on that one. There are a couple more, but I want you guys to give them a shot and then ask some questions.